Hey guys, this is Shawn Sanders. Thank you so much for clicking onto my video. So hit that like button, subscribe, and tell a friend about me. Just in case you didn't know, you can find me on other social media platforms. You can find me on Periscope. You can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram. Same name, keeping it simple. So hopefully you saw the pre-race, and it is 6:30. And I have eaten and slept and eaten again, and I am feeling refreshed enough to give you a recap on my review of the race and how I was feeling and all that. So I showed you a picture, but here it is, the medal. And it's one of a few things that I noticed through the race. Now, I will say that this is the first race I have ran of this particular one. I had never ran it before. It's my first time running it. And overall, I give it a, if I was to give it a rating on the race overall, I would give it a fair. We're talking about excellent, good, fair, poor. I would give it a fair. And I will talk about what worked really well, what was good about the race, and some things that I think that needs to be tweaked a little bit. Because, people who put these on, they do a lot of work. And so I'm not trying to slam the race at all. I actually do believe I would run it again, but under a different set of circumstances. So, well, first of all, I didn't bring my heart rate monitor, but I'll go over my official time because that's the one that really matters. And my official time is 3 hours, 3 minutes, 21 seconds. And I had a race pace of 14 minutes, 1 second per mile pace. I was disappointed in my time. I really had no expectation, but I did have some expectation. I was expecting to finish the run in I was expecting to finish the run in tops 2 hours and 40 minutes. This is by far the worst finish I've ever done, and all the times I've ever ran half marathons. I've averaged between 220 and 235, and that's in various stages and various age groups. So this by far was the worst finish I've done. I was set to finish a lot sooner. On my Run Keeper, I had an average pace of 12 minutes 35 seconds to 13 minutes. The longest one was 13:30, and I averaged between 12:35 and 13 minutes 2 seconds per mile. So I was really on target to finish in the place that I thought I was going to. I wasn't looking to do a personal best. I was just treating it as a training run. But this by far was the worst run I had had in all the time I had been training. So I'll start from the beginning. So you saw my the part in the video where I'm waiting. I got a mouthful of goo chews, and I apologize for that. I had like 2 or 3 of them in my mouth, and we had been waiting for a bit, so I was trying to capture the moment. And so I wanted to kind of film that beforehand, but I shouldn't have done it with a mouthful of chews. So, but that's life, right? So the first thing that I personally did wrong was that I kept the group shirt on. What I should have done was taken the group picture with the shirt on, and then taken it off and just worn my usual like racing back shirt, because it ended up being very hot. And the only way I could describe to my my friend Tessa, who I've been running with this whole time, is that I felt smothered. That was the only way I could describe it. I felt smothered. It was extremely hot. I didn't feel like I could cool off. Every water stop, I was drinking water on my own, and then I was dousing the back of my neck with water. So that was problematic number one. The next thing was, which was my own personal downfall, was that the race, the way they had the race mapped out, there were a lot of loop-de-loops. And I was one of the, I wasn't the very last, but I was the last person. One of the last people of the flow of people coming in, one of the slower runners. And if you weren't seeing the pack ahead of you, you really didn't know which direction to go. And that made it problematic, because the way they did the race, they had a lot of loop-de-loops in it. And I don't know about you, but it's hot. You're just trying to focus on running. The last thing I want to do is count how many times I'm going around the block. There were several races going on at the same time. There was, and they started at different time increments. My race, the half marathon, started at 8. There was a 5K going on. There was a 20 miler going on. There was a full marathon, which is 26.2 miles. And then we came in, I think, somewhere in the middle. So I was trying to gauge my pace and how I was doing by trying to find people in my group that I see all the time. Like when I see them, I know that I'm halfway there. And that was my gauge. But with all the races going on in all the different categories, it was very hard to track. And the race route itself was very confusing. So by mile 7, I kind of mentally shut down. By mile 9, my foot was bothering me, and I was getting really frustrated and really aggravated with the route. And I wasn't the only one, because we ran into a full marathon runner, and the route was so confusing for her that she ended up running, when it was all said and done, she ended up running another 1.5 miles more than she should have. So I don't know if you guys understand this for runners. This is hard stuff to do, and the last thing you want to do is run more than you want to. When you see that 13 mile, you know that you got 0.10 left to do, and you don't want to be told that you got 25 or another 0.5 mile out, when mentally you are focused on getting to that mile marker. So I really felt bad for her, but I did understand her frustration, because it was quite confusing. Now, most people, a lot of runners, will go and look at the map, and I don't like to look at the map because I don't want to be overwhelmed. I just want to organically enjoy the course. But overall, I did not find the course enjoyable, because I was so caught up with getting directions. Like, we would go around a loop, and we have to go, and most of it was around a subdivision. So, we would see the same people, but we would be going in different directions. And, I was stopping and asking for directions. So there was a part of me that shut down, because I just wanted to make sure I was going the right way. And if I was confused, I would just start walking and just wait until I saw somebody and ask them where I was going. So that came into part of why my finish was so long. But I give it a fair. I don't plan to run another half marathon anytime soon, but in support I would run the 5K. It's a short enough distance, and I could do it and would not be frustrated with the route. But yeah, that really, I mentally checked out. And when you're mentally checked out, when you're mentally out of the game, you lose the momentum. And then I got to a point where I just wanted to finish, and I just didn't care what my race pace was. So yeah, that's it. So I'm nursing my foot. Let's talk briefly about recovery. So I have rested. I've taken some ibuprofen. I had a celebratory drink, and I've been off my feet. I'm gonna ice, and I'm gonna wear my sock again. That really did help. That sock, the Strasbourg sock for the plantar fasciitis that I have going on in my right foot. I slept in that the night before, so I'm gonna use that as part of my recovery. I am probably gonna go, I don't know, but I'm probably gonna go to the gym tomorrow and just do some light walking. If not, I'll probably go on the trail and do some light walking. The one thing you want to do when you've done a long race is to not do some stretching. Stretching is important. Hydration is still important. As much as I drank today, hydration is important because it is taxing on the body, all of this running, and for the muscles, and the muscles need water for recovery. Eating protein. So my husband got me some jerk chicken that I really like, and I splurged and ate some French fries. And I'm probably going to do some light walking, and then Thursday I'll probably meet with Tessa and actually do a light run. It's important. I'm going to lift. I'm sore. But you don't do well if you don't do anything. So it's important to keep moving. So that is my action plan. I want to say thank you for all of you who have given me well wishes and encouragement to keep going, have felt inspired by me. I make no bones about it. It was not easy, and I'm not done. My course of action is to take it light this week, and then I still have to keep running because I have one more half marathon in October in Indianapolis. So I still have quite a bit of training left to do. So this is not over for me. But I want to thank everyone who has really been on Instagram encouraging me. That's usually where you're going to find me posting my running and all the things that I'm doing fitness wise will normally be on Instagram. And I just want to thank you guys. Thank you for hanging in there with me, and helping me stay accountable and helping me get through it. So it's not my best run, but it's not over. And yeah, I'm gonna just enjoy the rest of the evening. I am super tired. It wiped me out, and mainly because the heat. October will be different. It'll be cooler and chillier, and so I don't think I'm gonna have the same physical exhaustion. But yeah, this took a toll on me. So I'm feeling good. I'm glad it's over, and I got the medal. So that's always important that you finish, because there are a lot of people who train, and I knew quite a few people who I trained with in the group, and they didn't run today. So one of our mentors, she couldn't run because she had a pretty extensive injury, and running just wasn't going to happen. So you can go, and this just happened for her like 3 weeks ago, and like 2 weeks ago she was walking with a neck brace. So you can train, but the number one thing is that you have to be smart about your body and what your body's telling you. And sometimes, even if you train, sometimes you still have to sit it out. It's not what anybody wants to do, but you gotta be smart. You can't bull through it. So that's all I have for now. I am going to chill, and I will speak to you soon. Take care of yourself. Oh, just to let you know, because